there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. By request this week, I've had so many people ask me if I would compare watercolor pencils and if I would compare watercolor media and kind of give my tips and tricks and recommendations to the types of products that I like to use. So what I've done here is made this little chart, and I'm going to go through and show you and explain the different types of watercolor media there are out there. So first off is the traditional watercolors, and if you follow my watercolor tutorials, I'm generally using a palette something like this. This is the Cotman watercolor palette by Winsor & Newton, and when I run out of a color, these are cakes of color, I just squirt out a little paint and refill it from the tube, and that is very economical. Once you get that first investment of getting your first sets of paints, watercolor is very economical. And your traditional watercolors are very transparent, so I could pick up like a color here like this crimson, and you know, it's vivid, transparent. On white paper it's just stunning. On dark paper, now let's slide this down a little bit. It's really just, when it dries very transparent, so you really can't see it on the dark paper. So that's best for light paper. Now gouache is a, I just had squeezed some on my palette. It's a cousin to watercolor. It's pretty much the same, except it's opaque rather than transparent. So here I had these three colors by M. Graham & Company. These are professional gouache. You can also get a student grade gouache by like Reeves, or several other companies make them too. Reeves is a decent brand. I use it to make my pigment ink. It's just a great paint, especially if you like the look of acrylic but you don't want to deal with cleanup. So here I took those three colors and I mixed them together. Here on the dark you can see they dry to like a velvety matte finish, and you know, this tends to be a paint that more like graphic designers would use, but it's definitely suitable to use on your art journals, especially since you can layer over your colors since they're opaque. So that's kind of something kind of fun to have in your water media art tool bag. And the next type of paint I want to tell you about is metallic watercolors. This is the third or fourth time I've done this tutorial. I'm trying to slow down so you can have time to write down information and whatnot. This set is by Niji. These are really wonderful metallic watercolors. It's $6 at Oriental Trading, and you get this whole variety of colors. Now you're not going to get as much color in each pot of colors as you would say from a tub of Twinkling H2Os. This is the Twinkling H2O tub. And the Twinkling H2Os are more vibrant, but they're really not that much difference considering the price difference. These would be a couple dollars each color, or you can get a set, and they're a little bit harder to find, but you know, I certainly would recommend starting off with something like this. The thing to remember with these paints is that you always let them dry before you close the lid or you screw the cap on, or they'll mold up on you. I did do a tutorial on how to make your own metallic paints using eyeshadow from the dollar store, and there's that example right there. That gold is my homemade eyeshadow, so I swatched it up there too. So I'll leave a link below the video to that tutorial in case you want to check that out and make your own. So that's also another affordable way to go. It might even still be cheaper to buy this, you know, $6 set, because you get all those colors, and you won't have to buy like a eyeshadow in each of those colors. Alright, so now we've talked about the paints. I think that if you're on a limited budget, the paints are going to go a lot further for you, and you'll get a lot more, they're a lot more versatile. So that would be my first suggestion if you were looking to get into water media but you didn't know where to start. The next thing I would recommend, I guess, would be the watercolor pencils. They're very affordable, and well, I should say they last a long time. It's kind of an investment up front, but then they do last quite a while. This is my favorite pencil. It's the Inktense by Derwent. There's the full color library. The full range is 72. You can get smaller sets. You can buy them individually, and they're a highly pigmented pencil. If you're a stamper, starting off with a waterproof black ink pad like Ranger Archival and a set of pencils, not even a huge set like this, a smaller set of pencils would be a great way to get going in rubber stamping, especially if you like to color. You really can't beat that. Markers are so expensive. For the price of a couple markers, you could have a set of pencils and be a lot more versatile. And so these you just color out on dry paper, and I'll scribble out a little bit here so you can see. I'm always drawn to that lime green for some reason. And it's just, you know, it releases very readily. They're fairly transparent. They also have the Inktense blocks. I'll just show you here. Let me just scribble out that like leaf green here. Alright, I'm scribbling pretty hard so you can see it now where it's dry. Let me use the block here. The block is much more opaque. I think they might have had to change the formulation a little bit between the pencils and the blocks, just so they don't completely break apart all the time. So there's the pencil liquefied. There's the block liquefied. The block's a little bit more opaque. So just so you know, you can also use your chalk pastels in the same manner. So you might even want to try, if you have chalk pastels, try it first with that before you invest in the set. And I do have to thank Maureen for sending me this set of 12 so I could try them out before I bought the larger set. So those would be the ink Tense products by Derwent. I think the pencils are more versatile than the blocks, so if you have to choose between the two, my best bet would be to say get the pencils. They're going to take you further, and they don't break like these do. That's a little frustrating. I bought a big set and several were broken, and the trays they came in were shattered, so it was a little disappointing there. The next type of pencil I want to show you are the traditional watercolor. I got these as a gift probably about 15 years ago. Thanks, Mom! These are a wonderful pencil, and I'll show you the full line here because I do have it swatched out. I think that you should swatch out your Watermedia because it's very confusing to sometimes look at a pencil and to determine what color it's actually going to come out. So swatching it out and writing the color number will help you out immensely. So that's what that range of color looks like. It's certainly gorgeous. And I'll just kind of scribble out a little bit here. And then we can add a little water to it. Now, when you're working with the pencils and crayons, instead of using a big juicy brush like you would for paints, I recommend a shorter flat brush because you won't bring so much water. You just want enough water to liquefy it really, but not to really dilute it. So you want some, they're called brights, you just want some small synthetic brights or flats for that. So this first group would be the traditional Derwents, which are my preference, but there are other great brands on the market. The next couple there, I actually had borrowed those from my daughter's art bag. And these are the Faber-Castell art grips, and you can find these anywhere. They're very easy to find. They have them in the kids range and the crafter range, which are the same. They'll say they're not the same, but I think they're the same. I don't think you need to pay the big bucks. You can get the kids range, and it's about the same. They don't seem to be as strongly pigmented as the Derwents, but you know they're not bad. I think I would still save up for the Derwents if I could. They are easier to find in my area. You can find those right at the craft store. These are the Prismacolors. I have a couple of those. I wasn't that impressed with them, but these are the only two colors I have, so I don't know if it's a really fair judgment to judge them on two pencils, but I didn't like them enough to purchase any more of them. And then here they are dry. I have liquefied them and dried them here on the black, so they're semi-transparent. They're not going to be as vivid and transparent as the watercolor paint, but you know they will stand up a little bit on a colored paper if you want to. Now the metallic pencils, the ones I have are by Derwent, and I was really excited to get these, and maybe too excited because I wasn't that excited once I tried them. I was kind of disappointed. Here I have them swatched out on black and on white. Once you add the water to them, the sparkle really goes away. If I can tip it, the sparkle really goes away when you add any water to them, and the color goes away quite a bit. So I would skip these. They retail for almost $30, so I was really bummed. I did get them on sale for like $12 or something at Blick, I think, with a coupon, but they're all right if you use them dry. I think they're all right. You add water to them, they're really blah. And here I have them with the water added. There's hardly any sparkle left to see, and they're semi-opaque or semi-transparent. So they're all right on the white, but I just wasn't really that impressed with them. I think it's better use of your money would be to buy a set of the metallic watercolors, whatever brand you like, or make your own, because I think that you're just going to get more bang for your buck that way. Oh my goodness! See, this is my third take, and I'm not really losing my voice, but it's getting kind of rough there. Now, I wasn't crazy about the metallics, but I like the Graphitin, which don't look that much different, except I really love the color palette. It's a subdued New England color palette. It reminds me of the sea and some of the things I enjoy painting. So it's basically a tinted graphite. So it's much more subdued and mellow. It's the colors release very readily. They're very pigmented. They're semi-transparent, and I just think they're wonderful. I think but you know, then again, I wouldn't suggest this for your first set of watercolor pencils because I don't think they're as versatile because they're such a limited type of palette. Unless you absolutely love this palette colors, I would invest in a traditional or an Inktense pencil to begin with. But they're certainly a wonderful addition to your Watermedia set. I wouldn't pick them up as my first thing. I don't think they're as versatile as the others, but they're nice to add on to what you already have. Alright, next we have more watercolor pencils, but they're woodless. So it makes sense, really from a frugal standpoint, to purchase products where there is no waste. So these are the Create a Color Aqua Monolith, and I've had these for about 12 years, and they were working fine and living in my studio here, and I took them on vacation with me. And I think maybe the change in humidity from my studio to out in the world caused all of the barrels to crack and split, because they're a solid stick of pigment with like a varnished casing, and they all cracked on me. So I'm not really sure what happened, if it was a change in humidity. I did a search online. I tried to do some research and figure out what the heck happened so I could prevent it, or maybe fix what I had, or maybe suggest to others how to have that not happen to them. But if anyone has any information on this, if you could please leave a comment below. I would love to find a solution to this, or at least figure out what went wrong. I suspect it's probably a humidity issue, but I'm not sure. The colors are nice, and they come in a range of 72 colors. I just have the set of 12. I really didn't feel the need to expand because I had the other set. This was like a free gift with purchase, I think, at some point anyway, but I still would like to know why they split on me. Maybe they're just old. Maybe you're supposed to use them up within the first 10 years that you've had them. I don't know. And these are by Crayola. Another brand, the Nother brand? Oh my gosh, words. They escaped me today. These are the Aquatone. I actually like these quite a bit. No surprise, they're by Derwent. Honestly, I have never received any free product from Derwent. I think I should, from all the from all the customers I sent their way. No, I've never received anything from Derwent, but I do really like their Watermedia products, and I like their other colored pencils too. I think they do a nice job with pencil making. Also, it's all made in England. As far as it's all made in Great Britain. I don't know specifically England or not. I get confused, so I think that's kind of why the quality is so good. And they're not cheap, but they're not any more expensive than Prismacolors or any other brands. So this is the Aquatone. I believe they come in a range of 24 colors. They're highly pigmented. They're semi-transparent. They're kind of like a cross between a watercolor pencil and a watercolor crayon. So here is this yellow colored out, dry, full strength, and there it is diluted. So it does wash away a lot of the pigment when you dilute it. But they're lovely colors for working on white. I like to like wet a rubber stamp and color on the back of the stamp with this, and then stamp to give a watercolor look. And I've done tutorials on that. I'll try to link a tutorial in the video description, so have a look there, and if I forget, just let me know. Yeah, I forget a lot. Let's see, what are we working on now? Oh, my favorite watercolor crayons, the Caran D'ache watercolor crayons. Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you. Okay, starving artist 15 years ago. I really wanted these, and I bought a little set of half sticks, and I love them, and then I bought a few open stock, and then finally they went on sale. I don't know if it was I don't know what store. It may have been Dick Blick. One of the stores had a sale online, and the set of 84 went on sale for like $60. And I was just like, well, it was before I had kids, so my kids weren't going hungry or anything. And I snagged it. And I'm so glad I did, because the cheapest I find these now is like nearly $200. It's crazy. But these are gorgeous. They're really creamy, heavily pigmented, opaque crayons. I love how they package them. There's a metal tin under this plastic tray, so I'm not going to ruin my investment by a flimsy tray falling apart, which is really nice. I wish all the companies would do that. The colors are gorgeous. I did have the problem with one of these colors, and I'm not sure why, cracked, like the Aquatone. So, but it's weird because it's always been in this case, so I don't know why that happened. But you can see they just colored. They're nice and creamy. You can buy these one at a time. They're very opaque, and they're very responsive to a wet brush. Here, I'll just grab my brush here. You can work on colored paper like a matte board or a Canson Me tints. They're nice and opaque, especially on the lighter colors will be more opaque than the darker colors. And they're just wonderful. I can't recommend these enough, but they are pricey. But they're an investment, and I think they're worth saving up for. I've had these for a long time, and they're very slow wearing too. So they're going to keep you in pencils. They're going to keep you in media for a long time if you get those. Alright, so then we have Gelatos and gel sticks, and there's a little controversy. I did a video. I got the gel sticks, and those are about $10 for 12, and I was like, geez, these seem to work just as well as the Gelatos probably work. And so I was contacted by Faber-Castell, and they sent me some Gelatos, and so I tried them side by side, and here I did that comparison right there, but I'll do it again over here because I have one of each of that. This same yellow. So that was the cheap one. This is the Gelato. I know it's a stunning difference. I hope you can deal with the stunning difference between those two colors. You know, there's one. There's the other. I don't really notice a difference. That's a cheap one. Those two, I think maybe these three are the expensive ones. There's another cheap one. You know, the cheap one actually, the metallic really is opaque. The metallics are super opaque. I only have the cheap ones in the metallics and they're fabulous. But what I recommend, because there was only 12 of the regular colors and 6 metallics in the cheaper line, the kids line, I would get those and I would add the other colors you like from the other line that's more expensive. But gel sticks and gelatos, I think they're great. I think the gelatos are just a little overpriced, quite frankly. But those are fun. The other type of crayon pastel I want to share with you is the Portfolio by Crayola. And as you might remember from my haul video, I got a package of these for $3. So this is a set I had before. But these are great. The brighter colors are transparent. They're like lipstick creamy. They remind me more of the gelatos than anything else, or the gel sticks. But you can see they're quite transparent on black. The lighter colors are more opaque. If I show you this white here, it's very bright on the black. This blue would be, see, nice and bright on the black and on the white, and they're very responsive with a wet brush. And you could use watercolor crayons and watercolor pencils and go over them with these. These are kind of a greasy feeling, so you'd want to use them as your top layer, because if you use it as a bottom layer and then you try to go over it with something else, it's not going to stick because it's going to make the paper too greasy. But these are the Portfolio by Crayola. That's what the box looks like, and it's about $10 for a set of 24, so it's a great way to get into some water media without breaking the bank. Definitely would recommend these. I used these when I taught kids classes and adults classes, and I still use them for my own artwork, and my kids enjoy using them. They can be a little messy with kids because if you're coloring them really thick and you don't add water, they're kind of greasy, just like the gelatos, and they can rub off, just like oil pastels. These are a water-soluble oil pastel, by the way. And then, I do want to show you kind of a cheap kids crayon, watercolor crayon. These are the Reeves by, actually I believe Reeves is made by Winsor & Newton. Don't hold me to that, but I think that it's very similar. These are a watercolor crayon. They're wonderful. The light colors are quite opaque. Here's the white. I'll do it over there. You know, the white colors the lights are decently opaque, but not as opaque as like the Caran D'ache watercolor crayons. But they're lovely, and these are my kids. I actually just kind of snuck them out of their the kid art stash. But you know, the colors are so fun and vibrant, and I think it's about $10 for a set of 24. They're not available open stock, but oh heck, $10 you can afford a set. You know, especially for how much pigment and stuff you get. So that would be the Reeves brand. There are other brands of watercolor crayons designed for kids. The Sargent one's all right, but I find a lot of them are just too chalky and dry. The Reeves are at least, they're nice and slick and really luscious to use. They feel good in your hands, and they're just a wonderful product. And you know, I try to get good stuff for my kids too, to use that are non-toxic, and you know, so they're not using my Caran D'ache crayons. Oh, there you have it. A comprehensive, I hope, watercolor, Watermedia comparison review. If you have any questions, or you have a favorite watercolor crayon or pencil I didn't mention, please leave a comment below. Say, I use Lira watercolor crayons and I love them, or I use Faber-Castell watercolor pencils and I love them. Leave your experiences and comments below, and then that will help other people that are looking to purchase so they can get exactly what they want. I do appreciate how y'all help each other out. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.